All right, buck up. A Fox News alert. Louisiana State Police capturing the fourth of the 10 inmates who broke out of a New Orleans jail earlier Friday morning. The attempted murder suspect reportedly found inside an abandoned house.
And as the manhunt for 6 others continues, the DA says some of his staff and his family members are in hiding.
Yeah, who wouldn't? Nate Foy is live in New Orleans with the latest. Nate, you see anybody running around?
Haven't seen anybody running around quite yet, but yeah, it's day five of this search, and every single day that nobody is hurt from any of these fugitives is a blessing, because these are dangerous men charged with murder, aggravated assault, and domestic battery. So we know, as you mentioned, progress is being made with an arrest last night, but still 6 of the 10 fugitives remain on the loose. Take a look at Gary Price. He is the most recent fugitive to be arrested. Actually, the first one to be taken into custody since the first 24 hours of this search. Price is charged with first-degree murder. He was being held without bond awaiting his trial, and he'll now be taken to a state facility outside of New Orleans. As I mentioned, he's the first one arrested since Friday. Take a look at the map where the other 3 were found, all pretty close proximity within New Orleans, and a source close to the investigation tells me that authorities believe the remaining inmates are also still in the city, and that's not good news for the people who prosecuted their cases.
I am personally afraid, not just for myself, but for my lawyers who tried the case against the individual twice. We were asking for a life sentence of this man, and he is now at large. 2 of the lawyers who I tried that case with, who successfully went forward, able to get a conviction on that case, these lawyers got out of town this weekend with their families.
Yeah, so people who prosecuted cases leaving town, also the family members and friends of former victims also leaving town, concerned with what these fugitives might do. Take a look at this. So the 10 guys broke out of the jail using a hole in the wall behind a toilet. You can see right above that hole, they taunted officers, writing, quote, "Too easy, LOL." They then ran off from a loading dock area and crossed the highway. The Orleans Parish Sheriff said it's believed the inmates received help from someone inside the jail. 3 jail employees are suspended pending an investigation. Now, Louisiana State Police are warning friends and family of these fugitives that if they assist them and help them evade law enforcement, that they too will be held responsible. A source close to the investigation tells me they believe that they're getting good information, that they have good intelligence on these fugitives, but so far for the remaining 6, the timing has been off. So he made it seem that they've come close to arresting the 6 remaining fugitives. It just hasn't happened yet.
You know what's so amazing, Nate, is they found out that they left at 1 in the morning. When they got up the next day, they found out they weren't there. They looked back at the tape and they said, well, at 1 o'clock they got out. But they didn't know until 8 hours later, and they looked at the tape. The question is, does anyone at the jail look at the surveillance cameras
Who's working
in real time?
So normally they do, Brian, and the person who was supposed to be doing that took a break to eat some food. So that was the first major security lapse here. Also, these inmates, some of the most dangerous inmates in this facility, were on the first floor. They're supposed to be held up on higher floors. Prior to that, there was a request from this facility to fix some doors that apparently you can knock the door off the track, and that is what the inmates did to get into that cell, where they were able to dig that hole behind the toilet, which ultimately facilitated their escape. So there are multiple layers of security failures that ultimately led to this escape, and now the priority is making sure that they catch the 6 remaining fugitives who are still out there.
It's unbelievable.
All right. Thank you so
Thanks,
much, Nate. Also, it is law in that area that you have to notify the media within minutes of knowing there have been inmates that have escaped. And they didn't do that. It took them hours to alert the media. One of the, was it the district attorney, the one who said he's afraid, the DA, Jason Williams, said he learned about it on the media, through the media.
They didn't notify the DA. They didn't even notify the victims as well. And it's like, is anybody working there?
Exactly.
Why are they in that type of prison? It's a minimum.
Exactly.
They
should be in the state. They should be in the state prison. Number two, are y'all not doing sweeps? Did you not? I mean, it takes a while to be able to, get that off the hinges there. Y'all didn't check that.
And it probably made a lot of noise. When they're pulling that door, that had to be making a lot of noise.
And why do you have people in a prison where the doors can be knocked off the hinges, where anybody can get inside of the door? So if other inmates want to let other people out, they can do that as well. It's just stupid.
That's where I was this weekend in New Orleans.
That's right, Brian.
So I saw it. And by the way, two of them, there's video in the French Quarter.
Right.
They're in the French Quarter on Saturday. So they know the hot clubs and bars to go to, and they stuck around. So they're smart enough to get out, but they're not smart enough to stay out. I mean, why would you, if you are a criminal, why would you stay in New Orleans? And yet they stayed in town.
Well, he's trying to avoid the camera. I've done a lot of reporting in New Orleans, and they have this surveillance program because the crime it was almost a murder capital, I think, 2 years ago. And so all the local businesses installed these cameras that the police now have access to. So he's trying to avoid these cameras. But, I mean, think about the brazenness. You're in the French Quarter, the most populated area right there. All the tourist attraction and all that.
Graduation weekend.
Right. And you think it's just okay.
So the first three were found in a parking lot in the French Quarter. The other two on the street. Police transported those three out of New Orleans on a secured helicopter flight on Saturday. Then they took them to a secure state correctional facility. Fourth guy, who Nate was just telling us about, Gary C. Price, will ultimately be transferred to a secure state facility outside of the area. Police say there's a task force there now of more than 200 law enforcement from local up to the national level. They're working around the clock, they say, to help locate the remaining ones.
You got some folks that's still out there, as Ainsley noted. Derek Groves, he's convicted of multiple murders, connection with the killing of 2 people during the Mardi Gras in 2018. He's awaiting sentencing on a manslaughter charge since October 2024. Linton Van Bergen, arrested in 2021 for a second-degree murder and armed robbery. You got Leo Tate, sentenced to a federal court for felony possession of a firearm, burglary, theft, murder vehicle. So these aren't, some upstanding citizens
serious
here.
Violent criminals.
Right. I mean, the cops are underpaid. They're understaffed. And as far as I know, they're not led by anyone competent. And then it looks like the mayor is just overrun with corruption down there.
That's right.
Nonstop, evidently alleged some type of affair with a member of law enforcement. But let's listen to what the governor, Jeff Landry, had to say yesterday. He's as outraged as you are.
I think if you look at the criminal justice system as a whole in New Orleans, you will see the problem. Several years ago, George Soros came over to New Orleans like Santa Claus and unpacked the district attorney, 6 judges, and a sheriff. And this is what progressive criminal justice system looks like, Sandra. This is what happens when those people promise that to keep criminals out of jail. Sadly, you get 10 of the most dangerous inmates that are in jail in Louisiana, they get to escape.
I mean, he's so right. And he used to be a cop. He understands the problem better than anyone. And I said it just a couple of years ago. It used to be the murder capital world, and the DA still didn't do anything. The mayor still didn't do anything. That's why a lot of us, when the terrorist attack happened in New Orleans, it was the prime location because they had demonized the cops and they weren't enforcing the laws on the books.
Those roadblocks were in their possession and they didn't use them.
Well, the system has clearly failed. You have the soft on crime policies. You have George Soros pouring money into the area. The locks don't work. It's a continuous failure of the system, and now the people who are scared are the ones that locked these criminals up, and the victims and their families, and they're in hiding.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.